In the heart of San Francisco, a sinister specter lurked in the shadows, leaving a chilling signature at each crime scene: a single feather. In the bustling life of the city, where the iconic Golden Gate Bridge kisses the azure sky, a malevolent force was at work. An enigma wrapped in the cloak of normalcy, a faceless terror known only as the Feather Killer, began its reign. San Francisco, known for its vibrant culture and tech-driven dynamism, was about to become the stage for a chilling series of unsolved mysteries. As the fog rolled in from the Pacific, the city's heartbeat seemed to skip a beat. The Feather Killer was not just a phantom terrorizing the city, but a living nightmare that changed the way people lived their lives. No one knew who would be the next victim, where the next feather would be found, or when the unseen terror would strike again. The fear was palpable, seeping into the city's veins, chilling the warm, welcoming spirit San Francisco was known for. The city's vibrant streets echoed with whispers of the Feather Killer. Every shadow seemed to hide a new horror, and every gust of wind seemed to carry an ominous message. This unseen terror was not just a killer. He was an artist of fear, a puppeteer pulling at the strings of an entire city. His signature, a single feather left at each crime scene, was as confounding as it was chilling. It was as if he was daring the city to catch him, a silent taunt left behind with his victims. Every feather found was a chilling reminder of the Feather Killer's presence, a symbol of the city's collective fear. It was more than a calling card. It was a declaration from the faceless terror himself, a promise that he was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike again. A single feather, an eerie calling card, became the symbol of a city held hostage by fear. The first feather appeared in the spring of 1990, signaling the beginning of a nightmare that would haunt San Francisco for years. In the heart of the city, under the iconic Golden Gate Bridge, a single feather lay next to the lifeless body of a local resident. The police were baffled. The victim had no enemies, no dark past, nothing that could explain his untimely end. But there it was, a single feather, a chilling calling card left by an unknown perpetrator. As spring gave way to summer, 2 more bodies were discovered, each accompanied by a feather. The city was on edge. The Feather Killer, as the media had dubbed the murderer, was methodical and unpredictable. The victims had nothing in common. They were from different walks of life, different age groups, different neighborhoods. The only link between them was the feather, a symbol of the terror that had gripped the city. The Feather Killer's approach was chillingly precise. Each victim was found in a public place, each scene meticulously arranged to ensure the feather was the first thing spotted. The killer wasn't just leaving a mark, they were sending a message. But what did it mean? As the body count increased, so did the fear. San Francisco, once a city known for its vibrant culture and iconic landmarks, was now in the grip of a phantom murderer. The city's streets, once bustling with life, started to empty as dusk fell. People hurried home, locking their doors behind them, praying they wouldn't be the next victim. Yet, despite the fear, there was a sense of grim fascination. Who was the Feather Killer? What drove them to kill? And why the feathers? These questions hung in the air, as tangible as the fog rolling in from the bay. With each new feather found, the city's terror deepened, and the Feather Killer became a phantom haunting San Francisco. The police were baffled, the feathers provided no leads, and the killer seemed to strike at will. In the heart of San Francisco, a predator was on the loose. A predator that left behind a chilling signature: feathers. The Feather Killer, as he came to be known, was a faceless terror that had the city on edge. With increasing pressure from the public, the police department had no choice but to take drastic measures. They formed a special task force, an elite group of detectives assigned with one sole purpose: to hunt down the Feather Killer. These were seasoned officers, experts in their fields, who had solved some of the city's most complex cases. Yet they found themselves at a standstill, grappling with a criminal who left no traces behind, except feathers. To understand the mind of the Feather Killer, the task force turned to psychological profiling, a tool often used in cases of serial killers. They consulted with top criminal psychologists trying to piece together a portrait of this elusive predator. What kind of person would commit such heinous acts and leave feathers at the scene? Was it a message, a signature, or merely a taunt to the authorities? The profile suggested a highly intelligent individual with a deep-seated need for control. He was meticulous, leaving no evidence behind, and his choice of victims seemed random, making it harder for the police to predict his next move. Yet there was a sense of arrogance in the way he left the feathers, almost as if he was challenging the authorities, confident that he would never be caught. Despite their tireless efforts, the task force found themselves in a cat-and-mouse game with the feather killer. Every lead seemed to hit a dead end. Every clue seemed to lead them further away from their target. The city was in a state of fear, and the police were under enormous pressure to make an arrest. But the feather killer was always one step ahead, leaving a trail of feathers and terror in his wake. Despite their best efforts, the feather killer remained elusive, always one step ahead of law enforcement. As the city held its breath, the hunt for the feather killer continued. The game was far from over. Then, in the winter of 1992, a break in the case provided the first real lead. The chill of the season was matched only by the chilling realization that the feather killer was closer than ever before. The investigators, tirelessly combing through the forensic evidence, had been met with dead ends and disappointments, until now. A seemingly insignificant piece of evidence turned the tide. A single feather, overlooked in the initial investigation, was discovered in the belongings of one of the victims. This wasn't just any feather but one that was distinctively marked, a rare species native to a specific region. It was the first tangible link to our elusive feather killer. This feather wasn't just a breadcrumb, it was an arrow pointing directly towards our suspect. It was an unusual piece of evidence, certainly, but it was this very peculiarity that made it invaluable. A feather isn't something you typically associate with a crime scene, but in this case, it was the missing puzzle piece that started to bring the whole picture into focus. The discovery of this feather led the police to a pet shop in the heart of San Francisco, a shop that specialized in exotic birds. The owner recalled a customer who often purchased supplies for a bird of the same species as the discovered feather. This single lead painted a clearer picture of our suspect, a bird enthusiast perhaps, or someone with a peculiar interest in feathers. The breakthrough sparked a new vigor in the investigation. The police began to comb through customer records, surveillance tapes, questioning anyone who might have come into contact with this mysterious bird lover. The net was tightening, and the feather killer's days of freedom were numbered. With this new lead, the police finally had a chance to catch the feather killer. The winter of 1992 marked a turning point, a beacon of hope in a case that had seemed almost impenetrable. The hunt was on, and the predator was about to become the prey. The chase was on. The feather killer, once an unseen phantom, was now the hunted. The pursuit was a tense, adrenaline-fueled endeavor, an intense game of cat and mouse through the foggy streets of San Francisco. The authorities, once baffled by the mysterious figure, had now locked onto their target. The feather killer, as elusive as ever, attempted to remain a step ahead. The city became a complex labyrinth, a maze of narrow alleyways and bustling streets. The feather killer, known for their cunning, used every trick in the book to evade capture. They darted through crowded markets, slipped into shadowy corners, and even disappeared into the city's famed cable cars, always seemingly just out of reach. Meanwhile, the police force worked tirelessly to corner the killer. They navigated the city with a newfound sense of purpose, their determination fueled by the need for justice. Officers staked out potential hideouts, conducted high-speed pursuits, and followed every lead, no matter how small. Their dedication was unwavering, their resolve unbroken. Yet the feather killer was not an easy quarry. They were as slippery as an eel, their movements unpredictable. Evading the police became a deadly dance, a ballet of fear and anticipation. Each narrow escape, each near miss, only served to heighten the tension that hung heavy in the air. As the chase continued, the feather killer grew increasingly desperate. Their actions became more erratic, their trail more apparent. It was clear that the net was closing in, that their time was running out. The once confident killer was now on the back foot, their reign of terror rapidly unraveling. The chase was reaching its climax. The police, relentless in their pursuit, were closing the gap. The city held its breath, waiting for the inevitable, the final showdown between the hunter and the hunted. The feather killer's reign of terror was nearing its end. In the summer of 1993, the feather killer's reign of terror came to a shocking end. The city of San Francisco, which had been held hostage by fear for months, could finally see a glimmer of hope. The feather killer, whose moniker was drawn from the chilling signature of leaving feathers at each crime scene, was finally in the hands of justice. The capture was as unexpected as it was dramatic. The authorities, in an unanticipated twist of fate, nabbed the culprit during a routine traffic stop. The feathers found in his vehicle tied him to his gruesome deeds, and the city's nightmare was over. The relief that swept over San Francisco was palpable. The once vibrant city, which had been gripped by fear, slowly started to regain its rhythm. Communities began to heal, and the city's spirit of resilience shone through. The Feather Killer's arrest was more than just the capture of a serial killer. It was a testament to the indomitable spirit of San Francisco, a city that stood defiant in the face of terror. It was a reminder of the importance of community, of standing together in times of adversity. The end of the Feather Killer's reign was a turning point for San Francisco. It marked a return to normalcy, a time for healing. But it also served as a stark reminder of the city's darkest hours. It was a story that would be etched into the annals of San Francisco's history, a chilling reminder of the terror that once stalked its streets. The Feather Killer's capture was not just the end of a reign of terror but also a beginning of healing, of rebuilding, of reclaiming the city that had been held hostage by fear. The Feather Killer was no more, and San Francisco could finally breathe a sigh of relief. The city had survived its darkest hour, and in its survival found a renewed sense of unity and strength. The Feather Killer was gone, but the spirit of San Francisco, resilient and defiant, lived on. The Feather Killer left a lasting mark on San Francisco, a city that will never forget the terror of those years. The legacy of this elusive criminal goes beyond the fear and horror of his crimes. It has seeped into the very fabric of the city, into its collective memory, and has forever changed the way law enforcement operates. The Feather Killer, so named for his chilling signature of leaving a single feather on his victims, sparked a seismic shift in the approach to criminal investigations. A grim reminder of a time when a city was held hostage by fear, the Feather Killer became a catalyst for change. The need for advanced forensic techniques became glaringly apparent, leading to a revolution in the field. Today, the San Francisco Police Department is renowned for its cutting-edge forensic science unit, a legacy of the Feather Killer's reign of terror. As the city moved forward, the memory of the Feather Killer served as a reminder of the importance of community vigilance and unity. Neighborhood watch programs sprouted up across town, and the bond between the people of San Francisco strengthened in the face of adversity. The Feather Killer, in a twisted way, brought the city closer together. The Feather Killer also left an indelible mark on the city's pop culture. From films to novels, his reign of terror has inspired countless stories, creating a macabre fascination that continues to captivate audiences. The Feather Killer's story is a chilling tale that continues to haunt the collective consciousness of the city, a ghost story whispered in hushed tones. Yet amidst the fear and fascination there is resolve. San Francisco has proven its resilience, its ability to rise from the ashes and move forward. The Feather Killer's reign of terror may have scarred the city, but it also fortified it, fostering a sense of community and resilience that endures to this day. The Feather Killer's reign of terror may be over, but his chilling legacy lives on. It's a legacy that has shaped a city, a police department, and a community. A chilling reminder of a city's darkest hour and its unwavering resolve to never let it happen again. That's the chilling tale of the Feather Killer, a true crime story that still haunts San Francisco. We've journeyed through a tale steeped in mystery, from the beginning of the unseen terror, through the onset of the crimes, the investigation's twists and turns, to the dramatic break in the case. We've followed the adrenaline-fueled chase, witnessed the end of the Feather Killer's reign, and explored the lasting legacy of this dark chapter in the city's history. We're grateful you've joined us on this journey into the shadows. Your curiosity fuels our storytelling, and we couldn't do it without you. As we step back into the light, we hope you've found this exploration as intriguing as we have. Thank you for going on this journey with us. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment below, and don't forget to share it with your fellow true crime enthusiasts. Until next time, stay safe out there.